Hello, everybody. This is Nick, and welcome to this week's episode of Extra Credit Plays Saturday Edition. Yes, wake the up, samurai! We are playing Cyberpunk 2077, and it's another boys' night here. So let me just intro our good friends. First off, we have the man who will eventually dig my grave. We have Casper the Gravedigger.
How's everybody doing today?
Nice. And then next we have the man for whom doom is always eternal. We have Lugsberg.
Oh, I know what I'm playing after this.
Doom.
Maybe Doom 2.
Fair enough. Let me just turn down the music a little bit more. And last and certainly not least, we have a little bit of a special guest here. I invited him on here because I did a post earlier that I think may have caused some confusion. We have Forrester, the artist of both Quartermain and Screecher.
What's up, y'all?
All right. So yeah. Actually, let's just kind of get in with that. A Black Reaper. So Forrester. Do you just kind of want to explain like your kind of situation? You know, like I feel it's better if they hear it from you.
Yeah, not much to explain. Just just kind of taxed with life and work and finishing up a degree, and I'm in my last two classes to finish that degree, and yep. And the amount of work that I was doing on Quartermain for that Bronze Age...
Amazing work,
60s,
by the way. Amazing.
Thank you. That Bronze Age 60s, early 70s work, it's all analog, you know, just the pencil and the ink. Well, I mean, I'm using a digital tablet, but I mean in terms of, like, starting from scratch. Start with a stick figure and work up to do it, you know, the old school way. And it just reached a point where it was like, okay, I either need to slack the quality or put that aside for a while and do it correctly. And also, you know, there's Screecher to work on, and that's a good project too. So
yeah, so I just want to say, Forrester, your art was not bad. It was fucking amazing, to be fully honest. But like you said, it was kind of like too much or whatever. So we're not canceling Quartermain. We're not having a falling out here. I still think you're freaking awesome, man. Okay? And I look forward to Screecher. So we're starting work on Screecher. That's coming out in October. We do plan on releasing Quartermain, but we might have to delay that. I can't really put a date on that. I don't want to make a promise I don't know if I can keep. But the thing I can promise is Quartermain will return. Like, we will do Quartermain. I just don't know. Would you say that's pretty fair, Forrester?
That's absolutely fair. Yep.
Okay. So yeah. I just kind of wanted to like go and address this real quick, and thank you, Forrester, for coming on. And you're welcome to hang out for a little bit and just kind of chat or whatever. So okay, we're gonna do the game. So I have 3 life paths. I have Nomad, Street Kid, and Corpo. Corpo is not gonna happen because I'm doing the character Kiro from my Comic-Torn Samurai. I'm thinking Street Kid, because like I think if I'm gonna do like a Kiro build, it'll be like a Street Kid. What do you guys think? Just going off the name Nomad, Street Kid, whatever.
I mean, I've never played Cyberpunk, so I mean, yeah, I mean, you can be like, you know, the average Joe on the street, you know, starting out.
Okay.
It'd be cool.
Yep, we're gonna do Street Kid. And now it's
Kind
time
of
for...
that's like kind of like David from Edge Runners.
Yep. And so, we are doing Male V, the Superior V. Oh god. Let's see here. I'm trying to make him look like somewhat Japanese. Oh gosh. Let's just kind of just do randomizations. Oh my god, some of these are like... they are crazy.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of customization you can do in this game. I know that, especially with like parts that you're not really going to see if you get my grift.
Yeah. Just so you know, I do have some settings, like the nudity toggle is, there will be no nudity for streaming purposes.
Yeah.
All
Gotta
right,
keep it YouTube friendly.
gotta. Just do brown eyes. It's fine. All right. I don't want.
Here,
I don't want.
my sheet says blue eyes though.
What?
My sheet says blue eyes.
Oh God! Oh God! I know what you're referencing. Um, uh, Forrester, have you seen that Knights of the Dinner Table short?
Yes.
Are there any girls at the bar? Cause I want to do them. Oh God. That is terrible. I feel terrible. Okay, I'm not doing I want to do a white color for the beard. There we go. That should do it. Onomusha. Alright. Gosh, there's a lot of sliders here. Holy crap.
No, I do have Cyberpunk. I do own it. I just haven't popped it in and played it.
Oh gosh. Oh god. Okay. All right. And I do have a character guide kind of thing here. Because the stats. All right. All right. Reflexes. We're doing. Reflexes. 1, 2, 3. Body. 1, 2, 3. And then technical ability +1. Okay. Alright. I think I should probably turn the volume up a little bit. It's a little bit low. But yeah, Forrester, we were talking before the stream that you are a fan of Cyberpunk the genre.
Yep, absolutely.
What are some of your favorite Cyberpunk stories?
Batman Beyond, and then Akira, and later Bubblegum Crisis. Those were my kind of intros.
Fair enough.
I think I always tell my Akira story, how I got that tape as a kid. I was in a thrift store, and it looked cool on the box, and I knew my mother would never buy it in 1,000 years. And the VCR had eaten the Little Mermaid tape, so I switched the box and was like, "Mommy, can I get a new Little Mermaid?" And she was like, "Sure." Put it in the cart and didn't check what was in it. I always felt sorry for whoever came along after me to buy Akira and got Little Mermaid.
Oh, wow.
Boo.
Boo-hoo.
90s kids were awful humans.
Local guy.
We had to do what we had to do.
Yeah.
But then again, I had to watch the 1988 English dub, so I still suffered for it.
Oh.
Listen, V, I got a problem. Serious.
Didn't they eventually redub it?
They
with
did.
Johnny
Come on,
Fox?
spin it. What is it now?
Yeah, they did. It was better.
It's,
Although the redub is awkward because I recognize voices from Digimon and they're not bad, but it's just weird when it's them.
you don't joke
But
about
yes,
that
the redub
stuff.
was much better. The
got
80s
nails in
one
his
was.
corner.
What's really weird about Digimon is it was dubbed by
man,
Saban,
woman, and
so you
rat
have a lot of
hate
Power
because
Ranger
he's a
people.
fucking shark.
Like the fact that the voice actor for
My
Lord
bro
Zed
jumped the
is
joint. Deserve the
Wizardmon
hero's welcome.
is so freaking
I
weird.
know I fuck up, V.
I can tell that he's Finster. They're very similar,
Never
but
gonna get wise,
what
baby.
the one that blows my mind is that Robert Axelrod was also
tell me your brother.
Armadillomon, who was real innocent and country, and he was Lord Zed.
So,
What's really
can
crazy,
you-
if you ever saw him at conventions, he was he looked like this kind of really decrepit old guy, but then he went up to the mic and he did his Lord Zed voice, and it sounded exactly like it was.
help me out?
It was so crazy.
But then you're gonna
Yep.
need one.
If we're gonna talk Digimon, I also have to R.I.P. Dave Mallow, who just died, and Jabon.
Oh, yes, definitely. Which, by the way, we often just talk about whatever here. So, talking about Digimon is perfectly okay.
I mean, I won't linger on the Digimon topic. I just feel
no,
like,
linger on
it's
it all
something
you want.
to
That's
have.
fine.
Yeah.
Hey, Coop. Want to talk?
But yeah,
Digimon is, I'm not sure what genre to call it.
Pepe
Oh,
asked me to talk you
it's
up.
funny they came out at the same time as The Matrix, because that sounds really stupid till you stop and think about what's going on in the two stories, and it's like, huh, they kind of do overlap.
How's
They
your
both
Yeah.
kind of explore the digital reality
the thing
concept.
that I always found funny
What's
about Digimon, at least the first
Afraid
season,
that's client
it kind of plays
confidentiality.
out like a
Call it
Sentai.
a lot.
Like if you look at the story structure,
Craig
it
Sharp
does
with
play out like a
business
Sentai. Like Kairi is the Sixth Ranger.
Well, Merry fucking Christmas.
Yeah, it's also got
Cut him
some
some slack, will you?
probably unintentional
Hey,
Chronicles of Narnia
spend some
aspect
time.
because it's kind of an isekai, and when they
Don't
go
look like a
back
priest
to
that runs
the
a
human
charity,
world
do
and
you?
then they return,
You
that's
borrow
exactly
Eddie's.
what
You
happened
gotta
in
pay
Prince
him back.
Caspian,
With
where
interest.
they
It's
leave and
common
come back and
fucking
time has
knowledge.
passed faster, and it's now
You
a
suggesting I
brutal
let a flaky
dictatorship.
cunt who can't keep a deal
Oh
with
Yeah.
I just gotta say Narnia. I am
You
so
let him off
scared
because it's
because
me.
Greta Gerwig is doing Narnia.
You know me.
Like she's
I'm
not a
man
bad
of the
director,
biz.
but I'm
So I need
scared
to
because
know
because
what
Narnia
I
has
get
like the
out.
heavy Christian stuff. You
Oh, I
know,
know, she's gonna
Transactions
screw
go
it up.
two ways. I get it.
And she said it's gonna be
I'll
rock
do
and
you a
roll,
favor.
whatever that means.
What?
Yeah,
Wow.
Nova idea.
Go to a rock opera.
I actually think the Disney ones weren't terrible. They tried.
no, actually, I liked them. They were a little too coattail ridey with like they're trying to be like Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter and all, but
And they did set like sanitize it to a bit too much.
And 4?
yeah,
Number 4 will belong to my
for what they
clients,
were, I liked
just
them.
as soon as you clep it for me, that is.
I do this.
If nothing else, it was
His
eyes
dad
on the
is square.
franchise.
Of course. I'm a
One
man
thing I
of
worry
my
she'll
word,
do,
you
and this is
know that.
probably a small nitpick, but what I liked about
Whole
Lewis's
thing's simple.
books was that he crammed a lot into stories that were
Swipe the
about the
Rayfield
thickness of a
for me?
Goosebumps
I
book,
clear Pepe's
and that
account.
deep
Been tossing a cut
brevity
for you, I'm such a
was
nice
kind of
guy.
his style,
My man
and
Rick works
streaming
parking
shows
structure
are
by
notorious for
Henry's,
being the
club where a
literal
Rayfield
opposite.
driver likes to kick it.
Yeah,
Every
like
Friday
you would
night,
think
like clockwork.
in a streaming era
As soon as you
we would
appear,
have like
security cam shut
that's
down,
why like
gate
on the
swings up,
surface I don't mind
the road is
HBO
yours. Just gotta
doing a
grab the
streaming
Rayfield
service of
and
Harry
roll out.
Potter because I feel like an 8-episode like Harry Potter book 1 is perfect.
Who's the owner?
Like it gives
Yeah.
them time
Just
to
an
cover stuff in the
Aarasaka suit
books.
from across the water. Spews
But they're
cash
really
into
not
every
doing
hole
that.
in his body.
And his name?
Mm-hmm.
How would I
Yeah,
know?
no, Lewis
Why would
told
I
those
care?
stories by like
It's a
breaking
hot
it down
item,
to
and I know
like,
where to find it.
okay, what is the like
How am I
basically
supposed
one
to do
central
this?
event
Expect me to
that
slide under the
like if you had a
chassis on
longer
skateboard
story,
for a quick
which
hot wire?
which part
Fast
of it
and easy?
could be the whole story in
wheels
one
like this
event,
got
and
security
then that's what he
systems.
told,
Good
and anything
ones.
before or after was filled in, but it focused around
This bitty
you know
bob
each
works
each
like
of his
a
7
key
books had like
Rayfield
a
text
one little
used
core
for
narrative that
repairs. Opens locks,
it's almost
bypasses
difficult to
identity
adapt into a full
authorization.
2-hour movie, let
skeleton
alone
for
8
all
episodes
Rayfields
or
in the
something
city.
per book, and I just know they're gonna make a
Come on,
slog
Carrick,
out of it.
even you don't
Yeah.
buy that.
Kabuki's tech
I remember
was in
when
some
The
more
Hobbit,
magical
The
shit
Battle
than
of the
this
Three
under
Armies, was
counter.
the internet was calling
Have a
it the
little
bloating of
faith.
the 3 pages.
So,
Well,
we
well
all
the
agreed
problem
then.
with the Hobbit was
Or no, 5 armies, the bloating of the 5 pages.
like you could like with the Hobbit 2 movies you like that would be fine, but 3 is really
Kinda
bloated.
in a rush here.
Best keep your word.
Well, they wanted to do like a trilogy thing,
Yeah,
and it
because
was
they
just
wanted
like,
to
yeah,
mirror Lord of the Rings.
Head to
Yeah.
Emerson's Glen.
Like you could do the Hobbit in 1 movie pretty easily, honestly. Lord of the Rings needed to be three movies. Like that, it needed it, and even then, he was still cutting stuff out.
Yeah, I saw a fan edit.
Ah, man, I remember hearing
saw
that like
fan edit.
it almost was just 2. That was one of the proposed deals with another studio.
Spare veterans some change.
Or
The Hobbit
distribution.
really does work better in the fan edit that basically boots every detail that wasn't from the book. It's not perfect, but like the fan edit, it's not. It's I think it makes it down to like 1 3-hour movie, but that that's honestly better than watching all 3 because then it just is the book. That's how I felt about that animated Killing Joke adaptation. It's like, was it terrible?
No place like home.
50% was. If you started at the halfway mark when it's actually the Killing Joke, it's not
Back from
bad.
Atlanta a few weeks ago.
yeah.
That first part was possibly the worst thing DC Animation ever did.
Tell you later. Got something on
For
my
me,
plate.
like if in regards like you're talking about like the Bruce Batgirl
Give you
stuff,
the right.
I honestly
Yeah,
like,
I just thought the movie sucked. It
Oh.
was just dumb and bad, and the bad guy was named Paris France.
it's just to me like so many people get like their knickers in a twist over that scene. You know.
No, that's not what I'm mad about.
Oh, okay.
There was a normal human bad guy named Paris France, and I'm sorry, but you could do one or two things.
Paris France.
Either give him a believable name
Glen.
and just have a
Drop me
human
off
villain
then.
criminal with a normal name,
Front door.
or make
Take the
him
ramp
like
back
over
and
the
forth.
top
Show
French
you where to
themed
stop.
Batman 66 villain.
heard about
Then it's transcendently brilliant.
Oh,
But when he's
speaking
a
of
normal guy
66,
with
Have you seen
Yeah, but then
Batman?
we-
Oh, sorry, finish
Your
stuff first.
return to NC has been.
No, I'm done. I was just gonna say when he's a normal guy but with a stupid name, that's literally the worst of both worlds.
Have you
2 years
seen
gone
the
by,
animated
what's
movie
changed?
Batman: Return of the Cape
You know
Crusader?
Haywood. It
I
has
have
strong
seen both and I
roots.
love them. And William
yeah.
Shatner as Two-Face is a brilliant idea. I even like how they had him get hit in the head and hallucinate 3 Catwomans, so all
Yeah,
3
pick up
actresses were
something here
seen.
and there.
Like
Nothing major.
they worked so hard on that. There were so many
Appreciate
all the backgrounds and things were Easter eggs to something on Batman 66.
Like
It was
didn't
meticulous.
My only problem was, so like Burt Ward and Adam West sounded fine.
Went there with
Julie
that
Newmar
expectation,
just sounded
actually.
like an old lady,
Well,
and it was
except that it
like a
barely
really big dissonance.
It was.
You had like this,
Maybe
you
the
know,
more
hot,
look out for the best.
60s Catwoman, and you had
Yeah.
like you could hear the old lady lisp in it. I mean, Julie Newmar, like she tried her best. I'm not faulting her, but like you could
Yeah,
Stop the car.
I could
going
too. I don't know what to say. It's like Data being old in season 3 of Picard, like Data and Lore and Q. No, it doesn't work, but you know what? Sometimes it works better than recasting or de-aging. Like
I mean,
sometimes
Leaf
it's just
Picard-
better to have them.
they had the
Looks
excuse
like
of
it's my
like they
lucky
aged,
day.
and like Data, he allowed himself
To
to age.
settle our biz.
You know.
Once and for all.
It's just weird. It's just funny when it's
Got
all
an
of
offer
them,
for
Guinan
you,
and Q
Listen up.
and Data. It's
Oh, Q, I-
all of your
Fuck out of
ageless
Vista.
people have let
Pull your
themselves
boys
age. How
off the
coincidental.
Q, I love. It's like he let
I'll
himself
give
like
you the
I love the
Glen. Done
excuse. Like
deal.
I just
No
wanted to
more
match you,
restless
which
nights.
honestly
See
in
how
a Q
generous
kind
I
of
can
way
be.
kind of works.
Well,
One
pal,
I also
fucking
usually I hate lazy
stay out of this.
resurrections.
I don't know
That's the
you.
one
I don't
time
know
that
you,
the lazy
but you threw
hand-wave
shit around here
resurrection.
and capable
Oh,
of
you
even
humans are
less.
so linear.
Well,
That I thought was
anything
brilliant.
else?
That-
Because
If
Q
it was anyone
is
other
so
than-
needy, I could see him aging himself up to match for Picard.
No, I
just
meant
he's
how
that
he-
needy.
Never know
No,
who
I meant to
you're
Picard's.
six.
Maybe I'm spoiling,
You
but
neither,
it's
shit bucket.
old now. When to Picard's son, he appears after he's died, and he's like, "Your father didn't tell you about me," and he's like, "You're dead." Oh, you humans are so linear.
I'm pleased to see
You know, to quote Red Letter Media, how does it feel to live old enough to see all your franchises die?
Forrester, like we were just talking about Red Letter Media. In Forrester, we
We
were
were.
talking about that earlier. That's hilarious.
I'm at the point now. I don't mind dead. I mind them being turned into skin
Pulled
suits.
iron on you.
I have no problem with something
did.
that was like from my time, just kind of becoming a respected piece of history. A dignified death is so much better than a Disney skin suit.
Yeah, like that's why I'm kind of dreading Bob
Pull up
Gale
here.
and
Right here.
Bob
I'll just
Gale
drop down
and
below.
Robert Zemeckis passing away because they're the only
Here,
people
before you go.
holding back a back. You know, as soon as
Your number
those two die,
could be useful.
the first thing, like they're gonna do exactly
Maybe
what
we
they
can
did
also
when
work together
Harold Ramis died.
Take ourselves
They're gonna
back
rush
2
through
years.
a remake of Back to the
Thanks,
Future.
Padre.
Yep.
Oh
Gotta go.
no.
They did the same thing with
So
Ghostbusters. As soon as Harold Ramis died, they forced it. They forced that in.
Yep.
Probably not even a reboot, but a part 4 that tries to somehow retcon the events of the trilogy.
See, the problem is, you could have done a part 4 in the 90s and maybe in the 2000s, but now you just can't.
Well, now I guess if there's anything of a part 4, it's the Telltale game or the TV show.
Okay, here's
I'm not
the,
sure if
Here's the
the
part
game
4.
takes the show into account or not.
Find your man.
Forrester, have you seen the movie A Million Ways to Die in the West?
No, I know of it, but I haven't watched it.
Okay, do you know of the Easter egg?
I do actually.
So
Absolutely.
there's a scene where like Seth MacFarlane's character sees like some sparks.
Doc Brown.
Yeah, and you see the DeLorean. Like
Yeah.
the idea is, you know, which is like I think that's a great idea.
Kirk's.
It's a funny idea. It's wrong because he build a train.
Camera's blind. You got 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's
He
like
built
the
a
wrong
train
city,
train.
but
Do your thing.
I mean it's a comedy. It's kind of a like you got the rule of farce.
I'm a nerd on a live stream. I have to nitpick.
That
Yeah.
is fair. That is fair. I will give you that.
Kirk. I see the ride.
That's why Kevin Smith can't make a movie, because it's like, at one time, Randall and that dialogue was fascinating. Now, we're all Randall, and we do that all the time, and you don't even have to make the movie. It's just on YouTube.
Tech for a
And
world.
You're a man of little faith.
Like the Death Star contractor thing just sounds like some guy sitting around playing a video game on the stream.
Call me when you're underway.
And that's the problem with these people who live by like parody.
Looks like this.
Like Mel Brooks still made good movies. Like
Yeah.
you go back and watch like History of the World Part 1, Spaceballs, Rodham Men in Tights. Yes, there's references galore, but they're still good movies.
Yeah, I kind of feel Kevin Smith peaked with Dogma, and Alan Rickman's monologue about Christ as a child was like legitimately good acting in the middle of a farce movie. And like, as like religious fiction, my brain keeps going back to that scene even though it's Dogma. I do miss when, like, I'll pick on new Kevin Smith. Old Kevin Smith had moments.
Yeah.
I think part of it is
Those
I
are
think
two
he was
separate
willing to
characters.
poke fun at himself with Clerks, and he wanted to make Clerks 3 like go back to Clerks and be about making Clerks, and he said he wanted to tell a true story. But the problem is, he's older. Making that movie was what he did as a young guy, and he's kind of told that truth. A true Kevin Smith movie now would be what it's like to be a middle-aged Hollywood sellout, and if he take that, you know, that.
His ego wouldn't allow that. That's the problem.
No, but if he could approach his modern life with the same like forensic scalpel that he did his youth, he'd be back.
Yeah,
I
but the
think
problem
he-
is his ego wouldn't allow that. That's my problem.
I've always maintained it's the same for all you termites in Haywood.
Which is that, because I would love to see old Kevin Smith do the Clerks treatment of Hollywood and just shred them. Even if he didn't shred himself, even if he just shredded the ones around him, but I don't think he wants to do his face. Like,
Yeah, like he's.
that's where the Jay and Silent Bob reboot was like. I was enjoying it until he got to the Comic-Con, and then it's like, it just became too meta. It's like, dude, you're just trying to like throw shout-outs to your friends and your fans and yourself, and I can tell you filmed this at the actual con. And
Yeah, my problem is with Kevin Smith is he reeks of a nerd who the culture has passed him by but doesn't want to admit him. It's like, I used to be with it until
Got
it
him in
changed.
custody, Mr. Fujioka.
God,
All he'd have-
that clip is so
It's a
relevant.
waste of effort.
all he'd have to
I have
do
no
is lean
time to
into it and he'd be
testify or
back.
play
That's
on
the
investigation.
tragedy of it.
And
Just-
like I said, his ego can't allow it.
Suggesting we let him go,
No,
sir?
but lean into it, admit it, and suddenly you're the relevant icon to everyone who feels left behind, and boom, you're instantly not left behind anymore.
Like, that's why I still respect Quentin Tarantino, because he's still that, like, prissy little film nerd he was in the 90s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that coked up director. Yep.
Like, you can disagree with stuff he says, but he's still the same person he used to be.
Oh god, I've met both of them many times because of that video store I used to hang out at that doesn't have Clerks anymore because they've rebuilt it inside a university library. But when it did have Clerks, there were only 2 Clerks in the video store at any time. The pretentious bastard that didn't really like you, or the nerdy guy with like, I remember this one guy, he had long hair and a beard and always a Death of Superman bleeding S. If he owned a different t-shirt, I never saw it.
He got him 5 for $1 each at the discount store 10
Probably-
years ago.
Probably so, and but it was always those
Even
two,
Kabuki
and
and
they were both
Cannon
pretentious in their
Magic
own
get
ways,
on
but
a
just
lawn like
different
that.
ways.
Should have known I'd have
And
the PD on my
yeah,
ass.
Kevin Smith is one and Tarantino is one,
maybe
and they are
now,
like
as God
they are the
ordained.
platonic ideal of
Jackie
video
Brown.
store guys.
V.
Yeah. And the problem is, that environment has existed for like
You
over
hang at the
20 years.
Coyote.
There are 2 generations of people who don't even
job to steal those
have
wheels
any
you
frame of
carry.
reference for it other than what they saw in the movies. Like, yeah,
You work with
like
that
you and
sewer
me,
slug?
we're old farts. We remember that
owes him
stuff.
big, he can't afford
Caster's
to
even
pay,
older.
so
He,
stepped
he,
up.
he remembers that stuff from the 80s.
Gotta wonder about Pepe letting slime.
Even when it was
boss
there,
him
they
around
didn't
like
go
that.
in. Like I dragged
they
my
say?
brothers who were at
He's
the
backed
time
by
20
cartels.
when the video store was
Cartels?
closing for good to see it
I
and
know
rent a
those cartel
DVD
types,
one
but I
time, and I'm
guarantee
not
you,
sure they'd
none of
ever
them
been in there
heard
because
of
it just
Kirk.
wasn't a Gen Z thing.
Look how long God
But it was
learned.
there from
don't
89
do
to
people when he
19,
was
so
dirty.
exactly 30 years. But
Come on.
Yeah.
from about
Let's go out for
2010
lunch.
onward, nobody went in really, except
Just
old
like that?
farts. I hate to say it, but
Yeah,
it
my
was
local
filled with-
video
and people
store-
that wanted to hang
know
on to
my
the
homies.
experience. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
my
say it
local
again.
video store closed in like the
foul.
late 2010s
None
as
at
well.
all.
Getting one of my good.
And yeah, it was
Yeah.
pretty much just old farts. Like, older millennials and whatnot, and then Gen X and Gen Y.
I mean, I don't know how long this university library experiment will work. Right now, I see people go in there, because I'm in there about 3 days a week. I see people because of the school, and I just walk through there because it's like my own little private temple in the library. Because in this one wing, the room where I do my historical research and where the newspaper microfilms are on a balcony that sits directly over the video store. That's like a rebuilding of a 90s video store. So it's like the historical research part and the movies. It's like I'm walking through my own subconscious in a dream. It's like a memory palace in a dream, and I'm walking through it. So I don't know. It's my place. So anyways, I go through there. Now, I do see people checking it out. So right now, it's working, but I don't know if as the millennials get old, if they'll keep it up. Even the
No time. Maybe later.
library format memorial video store might fail.
I think it
It's not gonna
helps.
fail.
I think it helps that it's like it's in the library and it's like, you know, in a prominent area kind of thing.
And I think the school's always going to have it for film studies, and it doesn't really cost the school anything since it was weird that this university never did have a DVD collection, because most of them do. The community college already did, and it cost them nothing to have a mural outside the room that looks like a store that used to be downtown. So I think they're going to hang on to it.
Yeah.
I think what gets me is a little bit of subject change, but I think what gets me is like you have the younger generation now. There's some people out there who have no concept how analog systems work. Like I seen a post the other day where somebody was like, some younger person, and they were like, I literally don't know how records work. How do they put the music
That is
onto
really
it physically
weird.
onto a
Records
disc?
are popular now. They're bad.
Yeah, exactly. But they're like, one guy was saying, he's like, it's freaking me out. He goes, I don't know how they put music onto a vinyl disc. And I'm like, it's literally there. You can see it. It's the grooves. That you know.
Well, to be fair, like I understand like CDs, I understand records. I still don't understand DVDs.
But like, you know, I've seen now, and I've also seen little video snippets where it's like people, you know, younger people fascinated with how cassette tape works, and they're like, can you imagine a whole movie on this brick here? And it's like, yes, I can. Sadly,
To be fair,
I still
like,
have them.
That's like any generation with older or newer
Yeah.
tech. Like, imagine, I'm trying to think. Imagine,
I know, but
imagine,
it's just that.
imagine like you're a kid in the '90s, and somebody hands you, Forrester, help me out here.
Okay.
Like what's like a tech? Imagine you're a kid for the '90s. What tech would like surprise a '90s kid or whatever? In the '90s.
What do you mean that a 90s kid wouldn't understand?
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
see, that's the thing is we had all those still. Like they were still like when I was a kid in the '80s, they were still selling records and tapes and things like that. So we all had that stuff.
Yeah, same here. Like I would go to thrift stores, so I even knew like 8-track and Betamax and stuff because that was all kind of just cheap and laying around.
Well, in the '90s,
remember,
you still had the record store.
Yep.
And
There was a beta player that nobody bought at the thrift store, and it was plugged into a display TV, and my grandmother was one of those that would just pick around forever. She'd maybe buy 3 things, but she'd check every part of the store. So I watched Raiders of the Lost Ark on Betamax over and over in that thrift store, just waiting on Grandma. Sitting
yeah,
on
also like
old 70s couch.
cassettes didn't
Like,
die out
brown.
until the rise of MP3 players. Like I remember cassettes being relevant in the 2000s. Like people were still using cassettes in the 2000s.
Yep. And it's just
I
weird
still,
that
I
you
still
know.
like him as a backup. I was in a stream with somebody a while back, and it was a pre-recorded stream, and so I set up a tape player, and sure enough, the thing crashed and it didn't go. But what I had recorded on tape was fine, so I just plugged it in because I've got one of those little microphone cords that does it backwards into the computer, and so I saved the stream. I like having an analog backup.
Mhm.
because we were doing like a Christmas stream, and we wanted like real reactions to our like family Christmas story. So it's not something that we could like, if it didn't get recorded, if something glitched, we wouldn't be finding it funny anymore the second go around. So I made sure to have an analog backup. That's just me being me.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing is, like, kids nowadays, everything is. I can understand why things like analog, just completely, it fascinate them because, everything for a kid nowadays is completely, non-physical. It's all streaming, it's all digital, and to have a physical copy.
Physical's making a comeback too. Like I think people are
Yeah.
If you don't have disc rot, I've lost a lot of DVDs. Warner Brothers is going to replace some of them.
Yeah, I don't think disc rot is as big of a deal as some people make it out to be. Like you just don't see it.
I mean, it did get a bunch of mine. A lot of my John Wayne and Betty Davis and stuff like that and all, but it seems to only be affecting like the more obscure things that it's like, I'm kind of shrugging because it's like, well, I didn't expect that great of quality on those DVDs. That was kind of niche.
Yeah.
But I'm still mad it happened. I think they are going to replace those. Looney Tunes people are really pissed because the disc rot on the Warner Brothers Archives DVDs set in around the exact same time that HBO Max deleted all the Looney Tunes.
Oh god.
Oh wow.
It almost like
Yeah, they
Like
did
a
the same
perfect
thing with
storm.
Sesame Street, and I'm not a Sesame Street fan. I'm not sure there are genuine fans of it, but when HBO has something that
fans in a
matters to people,
nostalgic sense, at least.
yes, when they have something that matters to people and they want to share it with their children, and then they just go purge it out without even a warning. That's why I have a grudge against streaming.
Well, and see, that's the thing. Like with Looney Tunes, that's such an odd thing because, for us, with like most of like I think I can speak for everybody when it comes to Looney Tunes. With Looney Tunes, that was what our parents were showing us because most of the Looney Tunes I watched were like from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 40s, 30s, So, and the thing is, like, I still make like, Looney Tunes references all the time.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like,
Kill a wabbit.
Exactly. And there's a lot of younger kids nowadays who like have no idea what you're talking about, and they're like, "Well, that's before my time." And I'm like, "Dude, those were before my time."
Yeah. Oh, I know. I hate it when I hear that. Something like Danger Will Robinson and the Zoomer doesn't get it. And yeah, exactly. They'll say that before my time.
Like literally, some of my favorite piece of media is Twilight Zone, where the first episodes aired before even my dad was born. Like it's older than even my parents, and I still love that stuff. Like that's one thing I really don't really appreciate is, like at growing up we watched older media,
I'm so jealous of Rod Serling. He's one of those people like Ian Fleming who didn't just make a piece of media that lasted. They made a whole period of time. Like The Twilight Zone is one of those fundamental things. It premiered in 1959, and it's like the world became the 60s the moment that show premiered. Like it's veiled commentary and it's psychedelic, themes and kind of iffy
really
reality.
Crazy, and here's what's really crazy.
Time shifted with that.
I think I got her.
The Twilight Zone is the perfect.
We make it?
We got channel member Jason Ingram. Caster, could you handle it, please?
All right, Jason. He says, "Hey, hello, everybody. I want to talk like Mirrodin White, though. I don't know that. Fain and I would speak, yet the sands of time do whisper that I must return to my labors ere the hourglass spill its next grain."
What the fuck are you talking about?
I think he's getting very poetic here.
That's allowed. That's fine. But like, you got the nudity filter on because like normally those boobs would be exposed, but she's got like a bra on, so
yeah,
extreme safe.
Find a shard.
Yeah, it's true safe. Yeah,
That'll be what's muting the biomarker.
but it's like, yeah, it's you know, like for me, like a lot of older stuff I was introduced to because it's amazing how like Looney Tunes is a gateway to culture as a whole because there's a lot of opera that I know now today because of Looney Tunes.
Yeah, like the only reason, like, to Kill the Rabbit, like the only reason any millennial knows about that opera is because of Looney Tunes.
Yeah, like you know, the Barber of Seville. Like I know that because of the short Rabbit of Seville. You know, and what's funny is like I was listening to it the other day, and there's no lyrics to it. It's just it's a you know, it's classical music, but you know, I'm listening to it and I'm hearing da 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 da, and in my mind I'm going, I could be your little senorita.
Oh god, I love how like that guy's just glitching out because Jackie was going over him. That's so funny.
And I guess there's been a bit of a comeback of this kind of thing in a sense, as now we've got games get so bad with all their live services and stuff. A lot of youth are now migrating to retro games way more since they actually work.
Yeah.
One thing with Looney Tunes, I used to like try to explain it to people that it was like the Family Guy or South Park of the 1940s, that it wasn't like a kid's thing. But no, I take that back now because 20 years of watching media get old. Looney Tunes straight up holds up better now than like Family Guy of 20 years ago because it occasionally they'd hit Hitler with a hammer or something that was like very period, but for the most part it stayed in a generic kind of funny.
You know what's weird? Classic Simpsons still works.
Oh yeah, it does. I'll agree, because it was the generic modernity.
And that's actually what makes it time. That's the thing, is it's in a timeless setting. You know, you can't really put
a 2000s Family Guy anymore. I was there.
Yeah.
I remember watching it, but it's like I don't remember some of these references.
Oh god, I fucking love this game. Sorry, just look at that. Just look at that. I love it. I love this game so much.
See you in the near future.
Sorry. But I think one of the guys from South Park said it best. All South Park is gags.
I had a day with Misty, but I can't take the
Yeah.
metro.
But can you check Jason's comment, please?
He said Mirrodin Walight is Merlin's original name. He was a man who went made and gave prophecies like that. He was Mirrodin the Wild, and he talked like that. Alrighty.
Okay.
Thank you for bringing culture to this cultureless stream. But,
okay, you want it? Okay, you wanted something crazy? So this Wako character,
she's alive.
Like she's old as dirt. She's in her 70s.
Splendid.
She's Gen Z. In this game, like she was born in the Gen Z. Like she's technically Gen Z. Just let that sink in.
Well, I mean, it is Cyberpunk 2077, so yeah.
But just imagine, like she was probably doing skibbity toilet memes around the, like. I don't know. I just find it funny. Like
that's like the Cowboy Bebop series. I thought it was dumb when they did a gag where Faye is like, there's like a glass of water, and she's like, "What is this? It's water." Oh, thank God, beer. And I'm like, I guess the timeline matches the cartoon. The cartoon, they were in 2070 something, and like if you count backwards, Faye Valentine was born in 1994 and frozen in 2017. She's totally aware of water because, you know, her time was identical to our normal world. And so that's just asinine. And that same gag was done better in a Three Musketeers movie where D'Artagnan tells one of the others, it's a new drink, it's called tea. He tastes it, swishes it around, and is about kind of nodding like, this is good. And D'Artagnan's like, there's no alcohol. And he spits it out.
Like any other.
With a macho musketeer in the like 1600s, that's funny. But a girl who was frozen in 2017, it makes no sense.
Adam Smasher.
Yeah.
Legends are born here.
I'm also just over that style of, like, you know, thing you expect. Quirky twist.
Yeah. Well, the problem is, like, every millennial writer thinks they're fucking Joss Whedon. And like, if you go back and like watch Joss Whedon stuff, Joss Whedon's dialogue works when Joss Whedon is writing it. But literally, whenever anyone else tries it, it is like the cringiest shit imaginable.
Well, oh, and also Jason says, I do my best to be weird and obscure, and we appreciate it. So I did want to touch upon something here. So have y'all seen John Douglas's post on X about books?
Oh god,
yeah.
oh god, the trad pub sims are freaking the frick out.
Yeah, it is crazy. There's one book I actually have a screenshot here. I have to bring it up here. Name of this book, because I seen it in that.
Scratched your baby up pretty bad.
It's called the
It's okay.
The Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. I saw it in that video of his. I saw it on the shelf. That is a piece of trash book if I have ever read one. Because I like Audible, right? I like listening to audiobooks while I'm driving, while I'm doing work and stuff, you know. And it's just something I enjoy listening to. And if you got a good narrator, it all makes all the best. And so I said, okay, I'm in the mood for some new stuff. So let's try to get maybe some newer stuff out there, you know. So I said, okay, let me listen to a preview of it, and it gives me the first. It gives me like the first 5 minutes of it, and the first minute of it, I shut it off because I think like fuck was like used 5 times already. Shit, ass, all in a fantasy novel, and I was like, what are we doing? What are we doing here? Do you really think that this is good writing?
I gotta say, like it's one thing to have it in sci-fi, because sci-fi is supposed to be a little more realistic. But a fantasy novel, if I hear like a curse word, it takes me out of the story so much.
It took me out of the story so bad, and it was like it was a fantasy thing, but they talk like Gen Z. You know, they talk like millennials. They talk like people talk now, and I was like, you know, it just didn't. It took me out of it. So it was like nails on a chalkboard. It took me out so bad, and I was like, nobody talks like this.
I don't mind if they swear in fantasy, as long as it's like within the classical religious type of way people swore. You know, like, you know, may the gods curse thy house. Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
Like,
Well,
you know,
even in like,
I don't even mind fantasy swearing. Like when you have something that's obviously supposed, like Battlestar Galactica had crack. You know, where they treat it exactly like the F-bomb. But
Slag. Nick, you're my age. Transformers, they're fake slag in Beast Wars, and Batman Beyond picked that up.
yeah,
In their future ad. If something was good in Batman Beyond, it was Shui.
yeah, I love that's fine. I love that kind of stuff.
Swear word.
Or
You know, but,
Firefly,
like-
shiny. Or like
Nick,
my favorite.
Nick, do you remember the Batman musical when Terry takes Bruce and he hates it? He's like, it's Shui. It's Schwarbage.
Or even better, in Firefly, where they swear in Chinese. You know, Caster, can you read Jason's comment?
yeah. Here, let me get to it real quick. I have to go through my screens here. That's why my fantasy novel is modern fantasy. So if I slip like that, it makes sense.
Yeah, and like the same thing with my novel. It's sci-fi fantasy. It's a fantasy novel set in space. So it's like that kind of mixture kind of thing. Like, I'm writing it as if it's a fantasy novel, but it's like in a sci-fi setting, if you get what I'm saying. And so yeah, I have curse words, but because it takes place in our solar system, but like in the year 4000, it's a little more palatable.
Well, and the thing is, it's like but the thing is, not only swear words, it's swear words within a minute. It was like every other word was a swear word, and I was like, okay, this is. I was like, this is not. This is terrible for a first minute.
Yeah.
And what sucks about it is like, you're not gonna have, your character's not gonna be saying what the fuckity fuck every 2 seconds, They're not, they're not gonna have a whole sentence of like, what in the fuckity fuck is fucking happening, we're fucking here, and
It's like that Saints Row reboot, the clip. Kind of like, I don't know if you remember that.
yeah.
Well,
And
most
it's like-
people are still normal in situations. Like something the other day, I was in a lab in a class, in a biology class, and something happened. And actually, I was the one who slipped. I called something batshit crazy, and everybody kind of glanced at me. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I shouldn't have said that. Now, college students in like a Netflix show would, just everything be fuck. But in real life, it's like, no, people in jobs and, so like there's places where you say it and places where you don't. Hollywood is just and book writers have forgotten that.
Yeah.
I
It's
was
like,
embarrassed to have said batshit crazy.
it was like, okay, to bring a perfect example, it was like what made death terrible in the Castlevania animated thing,
Oh God.
where
Yeah.
where he's cussing every 2 seconds, and you don't need it because he's already got this grandiose ambiance to him, and I don't need him to be cussing every 5 seconds. And it was just like it really took me out of that, and that's what this does. And and I don't know, it's just modern writers write like, they write like they talk, they write like how they act. And like probably one of the worst titles I've ever seen in a book was, and I saw this today, and I thought, this is what we've gotten to. The one time I yeeted a love
I
potion
knew
at
it!
a werewolf.
I knew it! That was exactly the first thing I thought of.
Oh God.
Yeah. I yeeted, and I was like, really? I yeeted a love potion at a werewolf.
All right. Yeah. Can you check the comments, please?
Oh my God, yeah, it's popped up here. That's just bad writing. You can't start F-bombing in the first paragraph. That's just bad. That's what I'm saying. It was F. Trevos says, let's go. Jason Ingram, he's flexing with those Streeter emotes.
Yeah. He's a torchbearer for the channel. He pays $5 a month for the privilege of dropping some pretty epic Streeter emojis. You too can have that privilege. Just become a torchbearer for the channel.
Yeah. Seamless shilling. And Travis says, I love the Witcher shirt.
Thank you.
Alrighty. And but yeah, it's just it kills me because like I'm starving for some good fantasy, starving for good fiction. And
not too much longer.
Need to see Vic.
Exactly. And and that's part of like why I'm in the indie comic scene, is because I'm just starving for entertainment. I'm starving for this. It's
Speaking of indie comics, what's your review of Streeter 3?
Streeter 3 was pretty good. Left off with some mystery. Of course, if you're an eagle-eyed observer, it won't be a mystery. But about certain identities of certain characters, I don't want to spoil it for anybody. But we got
sorry, finish what you're saying.
we got the new character Shiva, which is based off or highly highly inspired by Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. Looks awesome.
Yes.
Especially since that last cover art we had. Looked like Mortal Kombat.
So Forrester, as the new artist for Streeter, are you excited?
Yes, absolutely.
And just kind of briefly describe the kind of the art style you're going to do, because obviously you're not the previous artist, and I'm not asking you to be. So, like, what kind of approach are you going to take?
I want to take an approach more like we were saying Batman the Animated Series, but actually I think JLU is probably
Okay.
Something more
Ooh.
in the streamlined style, but in the modern setting.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
okay.
Definitely. Um.
Also,
I think that's actually where that like Bruce Timm style I think peaked. I think the DVDs kind of tried to pinch from anime and got kind of awkward, and the '90s show was really good in writing, but the visuals weren't there yet. You got that sweet spot around JLU where it's like just basically reaches perfection. I can't even believe that show's 20 years old.
Yeah. I gotcha.
and you know, also it features I don't know their name yet, but also features one of the sexiest and looking characters in Screecher yet. You know, if you know, you know.
Also, well, to be fair, we, when we do get around to doing Quartermain again, that crown will be taken by Tessa. Like you've seen that art, and I'm sorry, not like Forrester. You did an amazing job with Tessa. That girl is beautiful, and I can't wait for us to get back to that comic.
Actually, I don't know if it's a girl or a guy, but you know, I'm just saying, you know. If you know what character I'm talking about, you should know if you know me.
I'm not sure. I can't.
Interesting.
There's one character who's completely masked.
Jeez, took you long enough.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, the funny thing about that character is their preview for an entirely different comic, Eco Ray. Yeah, Forrester. I don't know if I took, like we talked about Eco Ray.
Probably both.
By the way, those like the design of Echo and Leah were actually designed by Forrester. So Forrester, you've actually already worked on Screecher.
Yeah, I guess I have. I remember those cameos. Yeah, that's been a while back now.
Yeah, you designed those characters, and I had the artist draw based on your design. So you're already in the book.
That's pretty cool.
Says you're welcome. Plus, by the way, this game Cyberpunk 2077 is a great game, which is amazing. Speaking of indie comics, any opinion on Bug Wars? Because I think that indie book is fun.
I don't. This is the first time hearing about it, so if you say it's good, then I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, I'll look into that. I'm always looking for good stuff. Black Reaper Kai says, "Remember, I'm still best girl."
I'm sorry, Black
yes.
Reaper Kai. I'm sorry, Black Reaper, but we haven't met Panam yet, and we haven't met Panam's beautiful booty cheeks. So you have competition there. When you meet Panam,
Gonna be long.
like I'm sorry, you have competition in this game.
We can use it.
And then Debbie says, speaking of Cyberpunk 2077, any opinions on Cyberpunk Netflix show Cyberpunk Edge Runners? Because that show is amazing.
I love it. There are Edge Runners references. In fact, I've thought about maybe in like a future stream, we hit up some of the Edge Runners locations, because you can like visit some of the apartments, and you can actually get David's jacket, and I think Rebecca's shotgun in this game.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, so Edge Runners is actually my first foray into Cyberpunk. So that's my extended knowledge of it. And of course, whatever we're watching here. And then Jason says that makes me wonder. Well, there's a wonderful looking plague doctor in the book, and that's why I said that's the
Well, wait till you find out what's behind that mask. And let me just say, that beak isn't holding herbs.
Well, you know what? Who's to say what's behind my mask? To be fair.
What, you're saying you're a half dolphin?
Well, you know what? Us plague doctors have to, stick together. Panam is an amazing character in my opinion, and a great romance. Yep, that's correct.
And she got a great ass.
We'll see about that.
Great ass. But yeah, like back to like the whole like book thing. Yeah, I'm starving for fantasy. But that's why I'm trying to find like trying to find authors that I like, and
Caster,
then try
did
to
you
find
back-
some of the
Did you back Lost in
other
Mars?
works.
Easy on the gas, huh?
Yes, I did. I backed it, I believe, the very first day. So,
Awesome. So
Yeah,
a
but then,
little
yeah,
update
Pepper
on
Smoke
that. I did finish my version of the second draft, and it is being edited right now. And me and the editor, we're gonna be talking next Friday. Like, he just wanted a week to edit it. We're gonna go from there. We're gonna have a meeting, and we should be entering the beta reading phase next week. So anyone who backed the Kickstarter will have access to a beta copy. So they'll be able to like read a very early version of the book and offer feedback if they wish.
Come on, V. Find me one
And we're gonna take that feedback, maybe do some edits, and then like do the art copies.
Checking them out?
Oh, here's a Blade Runner reference.
Hey, V.
So you see this
Oh, yeah.
picture?
We'll see you now.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I see it, yeah.
Yeah, this is based off like what's her name?
Daryl Hannah.
Daryl
Daryl
Hannah's
Hannah.
character from Blade Runner, and Forrester is like is like, oh my god, I
I'll
wish I
sit
could
tight
see it.
over here. Me and Misty got a little catching up to do.
Jason Ingram says, it's holding Greek fire. That is my prediction.
All right, I'm sorry, I had to pet the kitty.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, a book I did recently finish is an older book, a book that probably everyone here has probably read, maybe. I decided to go back and just read some, like, I guess classic horror. And even though I don't agree with his politics, and I believe he's an asshole, I read Stephen King's second novel, Salem's Lot, and I gotta say it was all right. Didn't like the ending too much, but
I mean, it's better than the ending of it.
yeah, it's
I've
better
never
than the
been
ending
able
of
to
it.
get into one of his books. I've tried The Shining a couple times, but his on writing guide is like a favorite of mine. So it's weird that I like his book on how to write, but not what he writes. But nevertheless,
Yeah.
like
Well,
I keep going back to that one.
Stephen King had suffers from the same problem that Kevin Smith does. When he got off the drugs, he got a lot lamer.
Need tactic and perform.
Yeah.
Dexter Deshawn.
Like,
Well, it's
it's different drugs, but like after Kevin Smith got off the weed, he became increasingly boring. Same thing with.
I don't know. Either when he got off it or when he got on it. I don't know when. I think the weed might have been what ruined him. But
Last time. You hear?
with Stephen King, the whole idea that it's interfacing with minds is what reading is and what writing is, where he's saying that, like, I'm sharing a piece of my mind. We're not in the same room. We're not even in the same year. Like, that concept of writing sticks in my head, and the idea that like when you're reading something, you're actually like entering a conversation, like connecting to the brain of someone who might have died 4,000 years ago. Like, that's cool, and my head keeps going back to that. So his whole avoir boils down to that one paragraph of the writing guide to me, but at the same time, that's kind of enough. If people even remember one paragraph, you made it. So
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, for those who don't know, Salem's Lot is basically a retelling of Dracula.
Oh.
Yeah,
that one's never been retold.
yeah.
In
It-
fact, me and Forrester might be planning on retelling it ourselves sometime in the very far future.
Yeah, it's like basically the plot is that and this is one thing I've noticed about Stephen King. A lot of his protagonists are writers, so it's a lot of self-insertion that you can I feel like a lot of his protagonists are his self-inserts.
Yeah.
But like it's always a writer, and this guy who's a writer who goes back to the town of Salem's Lot.
Oh yeah,
Which
he
is
did
actually-
Misery with Kathy
Yeah,
Bates.
He did Misery, was actually good. Yep, that was actually a really good one. But the thing is, like, when he gets back into town, mysterious man shows up into town, buys like the old house on a hill, which is everyone thinks is haunted, and where a guy apparently committed murders and stuff inside, and and then eventually the guy killed himself in that mansion. And so the guy's coming back to like basically write a horror novel to and kind of face his fears, childhood fears. But unbeknownst to him, a guy moved into town from abroad and bought that house and is opening up an antique shop in town. But his mysterious partner is never seen, you know. And it's basically, you know, like Dracula. He comes over from another country, buys a property, and then slowly but surely people start, you know, disappearing in town. And you know, and eventually it basically it's one of those things where it's like you're trying to fight with your view of reality, and once you've convinced something, you know, once you've convinced the person that what they're dealing with is supernatural, you kind of feel like the sense of no one else is going to believe you. You're kind of in like, you know, a weird position that like you have to take care of this evil, but you're on your own, literally on your own. Because no one's going to believe, you know, why you're, you know, trying to put a stake through, you know, so and so's heart, who's lived there all their lives.
Speaking of a stake, could you read the comments? That was so bad.
Yeah.
I also injected an NCPD.
Run into any well. Early Stephen King is okay, but he has lost his mind. That is actually true. If I were to retell Dracula, it would be based on ancient Greek vampires. Redhead woman.
You gotta have a redhead.
Well, I mean, the thing about Dracula is it's been retold 1,000,001 times. Some good, some bad. Actually, some good, a lot bad.
I want to be the millionth and second time.
Say you'll take this and remember the.
And that's the thing, like when you get into like the whole discussion of the.
Thanks again, Vic. You're the best.
Public domain is because you're going to get, you know, I always bring up Dracula. It's like, yeah, Dracula's public domain, and Dracula's become a pulp culture icon, and we've had some really good stuff about it, but we've also had a lot of bad stuff.
That's the good and the bad with public domain. Like, look at like Wizard of Oz. Like, once everyone realized it was public domain, look how many Wizard of Oz stories we got.
Yeah, and then like, and the same thing was happening with like Popeye and Winnie the Pooh and everything. We're getting everybody. Basically, we're getting all these.
Okay, do my best to tie this up.
We're getting all these people who just want to make a quick buck, really. And because I don't see anybody really trying to make anything arty-farty with Winnie the Pooh. They're just trying to make stuff for shock value and trying to make horror movies out of classical stuff just to get that shock value, just to get something made and put into theaters or put on DVD and sold. You know, you don't really feel there's any art there. There's no passion there. You know, it's money, and that's all it is. You know.
If I get a tip about a possible attack, I'll give you a call. Maybe you can investigate before Max tags.
Yep. And like all this Wizard of Oz stuff, and he wrote like L. Frank Baum wrote like 20 books about Oz, but they're not ever like adapting. It's like, well, we're gonna expand, and it's not gonna be an Oz.
Well,
universe.
Return to Oz, they tried.
Yeah, like once, but I mean, I haven't even read it, so I don't even know if this stuff is good. I'm more just commenting on the fact that it's like, they did the same thing with Sherlock Holmes. It's like, they're not really, and James Bond will be the same way when it's in the public domain.
Oh, yeah.
They're not really trying to, like, respect or adapt or adhere to or engage with the author's work. It's just like, oh, no one will stop me from, you know, making this my own, ego thing and fucking it up. And it's like...
Well, and I think it's also kind of like how people have gotten into the industry, entertainment. It's gonna be the same thing where like people have gotten into the entertainment industry and basically have ruined franchises because they've turned it into what their own ego projects.
Alan Moore is an early example of that. I thought the first volume of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen was different, so I went back and tried to reread it. No, he just was quieter about his passive aggression. But that entire series was passive aggressive with just
more
nasty
focused on painting their own stamp onto the series than just keeping it going for further generations.
And you know what's dumb to me about Alan Moore making his little like his very last one when he kills off James Bond. It's not because I'm a James Bond fan. It's just the futile arrogance of like, oi, I don't like these old franchises. I'm gonna give them what for in my book. It's like, dude, you're literally referencing a dead guy's work decades after he's gone.
Also, real quick, Caster, look. Do you know what this is?
You've already lost.
This ain't your grandfather's insert IP here.
Caster, do you know what this is?
Not really.
It's a reference to the Akira mic.
Okay, is it? Okay.
Yeah, see? I think... Oh, I'm not wearing my jacket. Put it back on.
I don't even care if I spoil the book because it sucks and the art is bad. His Jimmy Bond, who's like copyright safe James Bond, gets killed by Emma Peel, and he's portrayed as this like whiny, egotistical, womanizing, just little shit, and he actually can't fight.
To
and
be
she
fair,
says, like,
we do something similar in our book. It's a little bit more respectful.
Agreed. But it's like, it's the laziest commentary. It's like someone's mom who saw nothing but the trailers before another movie. Oh, he's a skirt chaser, a misogynist. He doesn't fight. He only uses gadgets. It's like...
Spoiler alert. Our Bond, we like, Quartermain just beats him at cards. That's literally all he does.
Okay, I have a very obscure reason why I allowed that. And it's because... Ian Fleming in World War II actually tried to do what happens in Casino Royale to the Nazi Germans, and he thought he could bankrupt their treasury by beating them at cards, and all he did was wipe himself out.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
So I found that very funny that Bond loses a card game, since the Bond franchise actually started with Ian Fleming losing a card game.
That is so funny.
And Maine's design is Ian Fleming. That's Quartermain's boss. Is Ian Fleming.
I actually was not aware of that. That's cool. But what comments?
I put all these like things, and they're like, I had been reading the Scottish philosopher Thomas Carlyle, who was a romantic and was complaining that, modernity was going to strip away all of the individualism and soul from society, and he was very prophetic about that, and he had a cool beard, so he's one of the inspirations for Quartermain's look. So there's a Scottish philosopher in there. I don't know. I put a lot of thought into the designs. But I'm not Alan. I'm trying not to be Alan Moore. Like, Alan Moore is being mean and spiteful, and if I dislike someone, I erase them from my existence. I don't give them headspace in my mind or in any work of mine. Like, that's my revenge. I'm never gonna even talk about it.
Well, the thing about Alan Moore is he creates characters as parodies, and they become more popular than what he intended, and gets pissed off at it.
He's jealous that these people did better than him, and instead of trying to actually do something unique for himself, he just takes passive-aggressive swipes. He was a good writer when he was doing Superman and Batman and things straight.
And I like these vendetta, even though like I get the political stuff with it. I still think it's pretty good.
I forgot that. Okay, he has one character.
Like V is probably like. I mean, it's kind of a British Zorro, but like the Zorro archetype is so universal that like I'm not even gonna say he's ripping off, because like the Zorro archetype is like Batman, Zorro, Robin Hood. It's so universal.
Well, he ties it in with Guy Fawkes and the Gunpowder Plot and all that, so it has a very British relevance.
Yeah, and I think like that at least is a good character and should be. Like,
but he didn't have swords. Didn't he have like some kind of like style?
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, God, it's been a while since I've read the book. I have read the book and seen the movie. I think the movie was actually pretty good.
Yeah, that's still pretty far back. He hadn't embraced the passive aggressive. I guess. Well, that's why I kind of want to do something that's a comic that plays around with like classic characters and Victorian things and all. Because the most famous example, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, is passive aggressive tripe.
Well, I told you about like the story that I had, so when I get around to doing War of the Unknown, if you want to team up on it, let me know.
Oh, sure. Because I remember thinking that back. Like, he also was an early adopter of this, like, don't give the audience what they want. That's plagued things. Like, he didn't use Sherlock Holmes. I'm sure he hates Sherlock Holmes too, but it's just like he felt that was too obvious. And I remember the Avengers cartoon on Fox Kids didn't have Iron Man, Cap, or Hulk because they thought they'd overshadow them. And it's like, what is this thing of like, adapt something but only do it half-ass? And make yellow spandex jokes and things like that. Why?
Yeah, exactly.
Why be dull?
Like here's the thing. Here's the thing that like, like the joke, is always like, oh, look at Nicolas Cage in the Superman suit. Look how bad he looks. And when you realize, like when you see the behind the scenes stuff, when they're taking like the suit actually doesn't look as bad. When you realize it's like they picked the worst possible picture, like the worst lighting. I think if they had actually gone with that movie, the suit probably would have looked pretty decent.
Just a death sentence.
Yep.
NC's Arasaka's turf. Nobody fucks.
Like I like
Nicolas Cage was in The Rock, so I'm a fan of his just for if he only made one movie, he was in The Rock.
I don't know. I like Nicolas Cage. If there's anyone there are two people in the world who have the title of living Looney Tune: Jim Carrey and Nicolas Cage.
You work this out.
Yeah, but have you seen The Rock yet, Nick?
I need to. You keep telling me.
You need to. Because otherwise, my joke of that he's my favorite Bond girl won't land. But yeah, well, Stanley Goodspeed. I mean, he's a guy, but they even gave him a name that sounds like one of those Bond names. Like if he was Holly
Nicolas Cage, how about Johnny Depp? Yeah.
All right, Caster, can you be a good Bond girl and read the comments?
Okay.
You did it.
Classic tale for you. Psycho gang doing his thing.
Let's see here. Ooh, got a lot here.
Corp don't even know maelstroms involved.
Yeah, a lot of vagina. Pardon? That's my name. A lot of vagina.
I love it. In Gold member, it's like Ivana Humpalot. No, Felicity Shagwell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't get excited.
All right. Let's see. All right, putting you on me, TV.
Oh.
I guess because we're gonna watch some cartoons. Better. Well, Stephen King got TDS. Oh, he got TDS bad. He's got TDS bad. He's got TDS so bad that I read the book The Outsider, which is basically just another version of It. If you're gonna be cynical, it's basically It, but it's so bad that he references his TDS where it comes out twice in the book, and I'm just rolling my eyes like, all right, whatever. Let's get back to the story. And then it says, I just made something sweet and delicious. Oats, evaporated milk, sugar, peanut butter, and cocoa powder. So you're making what, no bake brownies? The only book, Jason says, the only book series that is in the public domain, hold on. The only book series that is in the public domain is H.P.'s Lovecraft works. Yes, he was a legit racist, but nobody messes with it in written works. The pen and paper RPG, yes, but nothing else.
See, here's what I love. I love how like Elon Musk is persona non grata, but just go back 10 years and they were just like dry humping him. Like there's in Mass Effect, you can actually get one of the SpaceX rockets, and in one of the Star Trek shows, they talk about him in like the same breath as like Edison and all that stuff. It's so hilarious to just go back 10 years and watch how they fawn over him.
Oh, I know. Yeah. It was like, and like 5 years ago, they were fawning over him.
People person.
Yeah.
Jack is so good at some things.
And then and then Black Creeper Kai says, yum. Comments must be not interesting enough. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Inconceivable. You keep saying that word, lol. Chat, we should go on strike.
Please don't go
Well,
on strike, chat.
Well, everyone likes a well-dressed man. Finally, we matter now. Humph. Ha 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 ha.
Oh, Black Reaper, you catty doll.
But anyways, I guess we should talk about some other stuff here. Like, Dave's happy birthday to William Shatner, since we're talking about Star Trek.
5 years old, holy crap. Also, can I just say, I love who's ever running his Twitter account at the moment. They are, like, it is so cool. Like, to have, like, when I saw the official William Shatner account reference Sailor Moon, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, I don't think William Shatner knows what the hell Sailor Moon is.
Yeah, but just like obviously.
Yeah.
I love it.
But yeah, because today, because somebody was celebrating his birthday today, so they put that horrible Rocket Man video out.
Oh god.
I'm a Rocket Man, burning out his fumes that way out here.
Oh dear God, please don't. Please, for the love of God, don't.
Jackster, talk to Dex.
Yeah, Gordito's a big deal.
And also, since we were talking about,
Guy certainly knows how to
the Twilight Zone,
wants to put
there's
small kinks.
something on the wing,
Before
some
up a big job.
thing.
Is his combat body.
Oh
military
yeah,
grade.
I forgot he was in that
Maelstrom
episode.
collected. Then Dex paid to take it off their hands just before the Gangoons had a switch up in management.
I forgot.
I heard about that. Royce versus Brick.
That's a really good episode, honestly.
That sums it up. Dex wants us talking to
Forrester,
Royce.
how familiar are
He
you with
the
the
deets
Twilight
of some
Zone?
Militech agent too, but I don't know how much help she stands to be.
Forrester, are you still here, sir?
Then there's the other thing. Gotta meet the client who put the job on the table. Evelyn
Alright,
Parker.
And they're gone.
Oh, okay. Well, it happens. I told him he didn't have to be here the whole time, so he just decided to dip. It's all
Parker
good.
wants to meet someone on the crew.
Yeah.
Dex gave me the
But
Must know what he's doing. So,
yeah, so like we got that, and then we have sadly we have the passing of the man himself, George Foreman.
Parker.
Yeah.
I gotta see her first.
Honestly, like I
See
go,
what she's
I
like,
go
what
by
she's
like
after.
what I said on Twitter. The one thing that none of us can beat is death, and rest in peace, champ.
Yep, one of the greatest grill salesmen ever.
Sorry, it's just like obviously that's kind of important to his
T-Rex
life,
sent
but
me.
he was also
Said you'd have
kind of a
something for
boxer too.
You're V.
Yeah, you may not know this chap, but like early in his life, he did a little bit of boxing. If you know. Yeah, fun fact about George Foreman: he did a little bit of boxing in his youth.
I have an access.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, great boxer, all around great guy from what I ever heard about him. And then oddly enough, Hulk Hogan actually could have had the grill.
Really?
Yeah. So what happened was apparently that was actually their first pick was Hulk Hogan, and they called him up, but he was trying to do something else with something, or either he was trying to do something else and he told him he's gonna pass it up, or he missed the call or something. But either way, they didn't pick him, and so they went with George Foreman, and he said that's his one regret is that he didn't go with the grill, because he saw how big it blew up, became like a cultural thing, almost like a.
Yeah, it's like George Foreman is honestly George Foreman could have lived on his boxing career alone, but the George Foreman thing really set him up.
Yeah, the grill thing, yeah, really set him up. But then, like, yeah, but if it was Hulk Hogan, it'd have been the Hogan grill.
I know it doesn't have that same ring to it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember the first time I had ever heard any acknowledgement was, I wonder if it was the same with you guys. Him being like parodied as Gary Coleman in Drake and Josh.
Oh gosh.
Oh, wow.
Oh, Josh.
Got anything Nova for sale?
You can afford it.
Okay, and then Black River Guy says, "Yes, I'm a drama queen. He knows the lore. Very interesting. Oh, so about soul leveling, I think they're using the light novels now, not the manhwa, which I'm reading. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I liked this season. I thought it was pretty good. Well, watching on YouTube, I'm on the International Guild arc. Okay, cool.
Nice.
Rip George, I watched that show where him and Terry where him, Terry Bradshaw, and Bill Shatner went around the world, and it was fun to watch them.
Oh god, yeah.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, they were on a show together. Yeah,
Honestly,
forgot about that.
He just seems like just kind of a lovable dude, to be honest with Foreman.
Yeah, he just seemed like a chill dude. Yeah. There's one thing that I've learned or I've noticed about like science fiction movies. If you want a good science fiction movie, it has to be raining all the time.
Yeah.
There needs to be a lot of heavy rain all the time. Because like if you go back and watch Blade Runner, it's like my God, every scene outside is in the rain.
All those moments will be lost like tears. Like, did you know that Rutger Hauer actually wrote that whole speech himself?
Oh, really? Really? That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Is my microphone back?
Oh, welcome back.
There you go.
Yeah,
I had unplugged. Sorry about that.
Oh no.
Oh, we thought you were banished to the Shadow Realm.
Yeah.
No, I had to reboot because when I got that little notification, we're not detecting input, and then once I plugged it back in, I had to restart. Anyways, I'm back.
Ah, nice.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Just talking about the Foreman grill.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm trying to like power my way through this game. Like,
Is it true he named all of his kids George Foreman? I remember that joke in the 90s.
And this is Georgina Foreman, and this is Georgia Foreman. This is George Foreman.
There was this boomer email in the 90s that was like the shortest books ever written. It was like the George Foreman Book of Baby Names, Bill Clinton's Book of Virtues. I don't remember all of them.
Oh my God. I did not have sexual relations with that woman. But I actually did. Well, and the funny thing is, like, if you actually look, like, into like the whole monolith thing, she kind of got backstabbed. Like, it was like that one reporter that was like story hungry that kind of manipulated her. Like, I'm not saying, well, I don't know. I do feel that's something before her.
Yeah. Her friend with the keeping the dress and all. Oh, no, not the dress, the tape. Like that was. No. Actually, like recording calls as like leaking DMs for me, that's like one of the like uncrossable lines. I guess even in the '90s that was the thing. But damn. Just on a personal honor level, it's like, wow. I mean, I could have understood even like if it was like, you know, the FBI wiretaped them and found it out in an investigation, fine. But your friend used a tape?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Also, like,
Watch it, Joe.
I don't know. She did keep the dress. Like, she knew what she was doing.
Okay, yeah, I agree.
Like, you don't keep that dress unless you know you're going to use it for blackmail.
That's true too. Clinton is evergreen and like all the jokes. Like I remember when she was for Weight Watchers, she was a spokesman. They were saying she lost 3 disc sizes.
3 disc sizes?
desk. Yeah, a lot of people get AIDS from having sex. Bill Clinton gets sex from having AIDS.
Huh.
I don't remember them all now, but there were so many.
There's so many jokes. Like, oh my god. The
presidents
Chad era of the hanging.
The presidents find themselves in Oz, and Ronald Reagan, they're going to see the wizard, and he's like, well, everybody told me I was a warmonger. I think I'm going to ask the wizard for a heart. And W. Bush is like, everybody says I'm stupid. I'm going to go to that wizard. I'm going to get a brain. Bill Clinton looks around and says, where's Dorothy? Jimmy Carter, they said I was a coward, so I'm going to get some courage. And then where's Dorothy? Boomer humor. Yeah, I dated myself on the internet when something was said about, like somebody was saying something they used to read until video games, and then I was like, yeah, I read Tom Clancy until the Xbox 360 came out. And then I'm like, holy shit, that's an old fart thing to say.
Well, I think the only Tom Clancy thing I read wasn't even his. Like, do you remember the Net Force series?
Yeah.
Like, it's really interesting because it was like,
Tom Clancy cornered the market on his type of writing, that modern thriller pulp thing, but he wasn't really the best at it. It was bloated and could have been more condensed. Like, he was a writer for the paperback era, but the 1990s wanted these, thick tomes.
Yeah, he was a writer for he was a master of the airplane novel.
Yeah, and the Hunt for Red October is what really launched it. I kind of like the adaptations better, but I would force through them because they were the only thing doing those type stories. And then that glorious era hit of like the first 3 Modern Warfares and the first 2 Black Ops, like every year. Like now COD is a joke, but in that late 2000s, every year from like 08 to 012 was just like another banger.
Yeah.
And they had legit good story modes, like.
And it's not only that, but like a lot of the Tom Clancy games are legit good because like the Tom Clancy games date back to the 90s. And they were based off of actual novels. Like Splinter Cell is a novel, and I think I read like a little bit of it. It's actually pretty good.
Mm-hmm. I'd never thought about that till Tom Clancy, but that's my criticism, and I know why. It's just publisher requirements. They get their grubby fingers.
Is the game being made first?
Well, and the other thing is, Tom Clancy had kind of the same problem that like John Patterson did, who is the king of the airplane novel. It says John Patterson, but it was written by someone else, like the Net Force series. Was written by C. Perry.
Oh, you mean to read on an airplane? Gotcha. I didn't know what you meant. I'm trying to think of Tom Clancy books with aircraft. I wasn't sure.
No, you get them at the airport terminal and you read them on the airplane. It's like, I don't care what it is, it just needs to pass it just needs to keep me entertained for 5 hours.
Well, not every book needs to be that long. Like, that's one of the problems right now is there's a size and shape that we know the thriller to look like, and the publishers just want them in that size and shape.
By the way, I think this is the Ghost in the Shell. Reference. Yeah, like Cyberpunk has like a lot of like really good references. I think this is the Ghost in the Shell fight, if I remember correctly. Yep, this is the Ghost in the Shell fight. Seacaster? Yep, this is the Ghost in the Shell. Alright, I can't kill them, so I need to switch to the bat. Yeah, see how like you got the hair too?
Aim fucking steady!
Oh shit, I died. Yeah, that was my fault. I got like the grenade and I didn't get out of the water.
Is the death screen still red like in most games?
Yeah, it's the red. Yeah.
I love that. I love how that comes from James Bond.
Really?
Well, yeah, because you think about GoldenEye. The blood running down the screen was the gun barrel sequence, and then GoldenEye, like every FPS was ripping GoldenEye's mechanics, and it's always some blood-related thing. But yes, that's the origin, is the James Bond gun
Just
barrel.
having the screen go red. Well,
Red
Wolfenstein 3D was doing that long before GoldenEye.
Okay.
Alright. I had to get out of there.
We got him!
Ah, God, this is so. Oh, that was my fault. It literally blew up in my face.
So how does that 32X I posted look?
Oh, looks beautiful. Looks beautiful.
Yeah.
So, Caster, would you like
got
to
it for a
explain?
steal.
Would you like to explain to Forrester what it is you do?
What it is I do? Well, I mean, you know, with like regards to what, with the bodies or with like gaming?
With like your roulette thing.
Oh, roulette. Okay. So like on Facebook, there's these different communities where they do like raffles, and what they do is it's a last man standing thing, and it's invite only. So you know you have to be trustworthy to be let in. And but anyways, what they do is you have these guys put. Usually it's for right now it's like for gaming stuff, but like and usually gaming, you know, related things. And what is like, say you'll have a raffle wheel, and you'll have like 10 spots on it, and you'll like say you want something for $100, or you want to sell something for $100. So what you'll do is like you'll get a game or something that's like maybe worth $100, and or however it's worth. But just for $100, just for, you know, explanation purposes. But you put down like say 10 spots at $10 a piece, and you have people go, okay, that sounds pretty good. I'll buy a spot, and they'll get, you know, so whenever all the spots are claimed, we go to a group chat, and what they'll do is everyone gives you, you know, you give them your payment information, usually PayPal or whatever, and everybody sends you $10, and when everyone's paid up, you spin the wheel. Well, you spin the wheel, and whoever's name pops up, you eliminate them off the wheel. Then you spin it again, you spin it again, you spin it again. Every time you do it, you eliminate their name off the wheel until you have the last name on the wheel. And whoever is last name on the wheel wins the grand prize, or whatever it is. So I paid for $35 for an entry fee. I won a Sega 32X complete in the box.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm actually pretty pleased with that. Came in the mail the other day, and I posted it on X, and it looks gorgeous.
It does.
And the thing I love about it is on the side of the box, it has the specs like a freaking computer. Like it's on the side here, it says CPU, 2 Hitachi 32-bit RISC processors running at 23 megahertz per second, co-processing with the Genesis graphics, high-speed RSC processors, and dual-frame buffers, rendering up to 50,000 polygons per second for arcade-quality texture mapping, hardware scaling, and rotation.
By the way,
there you go.
I had to cheese it like now, but I did.
Ooh, and 4 megabits of RAM.
4 megabits. Oh my God, you're playing with power.
I'm playing with power. 32,000 simultaneous colors.
Oh baby.
But yeah, it's just like on the back. It's just cool because on the back it reads like you're like specs for a computer. And it's so funny. But yeah, so that's how I get a lot of my collection, gaming collection. Is I play these. Sometimes I win, sometimes you lose, and sometimes I put stuff on there to make a quick buck.
Wow.
Yeah.
So like I think last week I made $100 selling a refurbished Game Gear. I like how no one ever acknowledged that comment of the bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I googled. I gotta own that. I was wrong about GoldenEye. It's more that popularized it among the mainstream. Yeah, Wolfenstein. Red for an injury had been done, so it's not from that.
Fair enough.
It is to normal people, to people like me that are like plug and play consoles. It brought it to the rest of our attention. I didn't even know Doom existed in the 90s, so it's like...
Really?
I have to amend that statement. GoldenEye brought it to the... I don't know what insulting term to call normies like me, but brought it to our level, and then Call of Duty and stuff, like, cemented it.
Okay.
I think
I don't know
normie
how
is
to
good.
customize computers and stuff like that. You have to install it. Like, games don't run on any computer I've ever bought decently, so I've kind of always ignored PC.
Yeah, this is a pretty okay laptop. It's got a 3060 inside. Let me show you my graphics settings right now. I am doing some upscaling. I got it quality. Yeah, pretty much running it in like high and medium settings, and I'm getting like 70 FPS. So it's not bad.
No, I'm not a total turbo normie. I am a tech guy. I'm just a retro tech guy. I like getting old secondhand things and cleaning them up and restoring them and stuff like that. So
Oh, you are among friends here. I'll tell you that one.
That's pretty much my whole shtick.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, like even in the Quartermain comic, the telephones that he uses are telephones that are in my house because I find things like that and buy them and clean them up. And
It's always fun. It's always fun watching kids' reaction when you're like, "This is called a phone. It has a cord on it."
Well, ironically, the last time I used a landline rotary phone was only in January of 2020. It was a
Rotary
church
phone,
building
wow.
on campus at a college, of Episcopal Church Canterbury Center, and it was built in '84, and they still had their landline phones. But Zoomers will literally walk past it. Like, there were people in there who saw that phone every day and never even realized that it could make calls, but it did. So yeah, like my last usage of a landline rotary in the wild was straight up 2020.
Wow. Yeah, I was like, the last time I used a landline was like, I think at my grandmother, or a rotary phone was at like my grandmother's house when she still had one.
But I had to pick it up. I just called my mom just to be like, hey, you wouldn't believe what I'm calling you with.
I don't think I've ever actually like I've held rotary phones. I don't think I've ever actually dialed a rotary phone. I've seen them, you know.
What I don't understand is, I'm not saying that they're everywhere or that the youth should know them. I just don't understand the people who will walk by something and not be like, wait, what is that thing? Like, that was the highlight of my day to find in 2020 an active plugged-in rotary landline. Wow, it was like a pink from 1984.
Oh no. Okay,
Yeah.
you want to feel old? I misunderstood what you were saying about the rotary phones, so I thought you just meant the kind where you push buttons.
No, it's like, it was the kind of like where the
wheel.
You know those like 80s phones where it's one piece and it sits on the cradle and you pick it up and you expect the buttons to be in the middle between your ear and your mouthpiece on there. But it's still a rotary dial. And it's like, that was a crazy thing to spot in the wild, and it worked.
Wait a minute. The rotary dial was on the receiver.
Yes.
Oh wow, yes, that's even rare. Yeah, I've seen those, but yeah, I've never actually made a call on those. Oh yeah, that's a rare one right there.
That is, yeah, that is.
I thought you meant like the standalone one that had the rotor dial on the base of it.
No, and they told me I could keep it, and I didn't take it home that day, and then it ended up getting thrown away, and I was heartbroken over that.
That sucks.
Because they remodeled the building, and... But, you know...
Yeah, one piece of media one piece of like media player that I want to get. Yeah, One Piece. A media player I want to get is I want to get a VCD player, I believe it's called.
Holy Jesus. Someone is selling that phone for $179 that got thrown in the trash.
Hey, Caster.
Yes.
eBay is nuts.
You want me to make you jealous right now?
This is the pink phone.
I own VCDs. I literally have VCDs on me right now.
Well, I'm talking about like you talking about the vinyl ones.
No, this actual CD, like the actual CD ones.
No, I'm talking about I don't think I still said it right here. Let me see here. No, I'm thinking of something else here. Hold on. No, I'm talking about there's in the early 80s, just before tape came out, like just before tapes came out, there was a thing called it was like movies came on vinyl records.
Oh yeah, I've heard of those. I think I watched YouTube videos on those.
Yeah, and I have two of them.
Me too.
I have two of them, and they
Rocky
are.
III and Superman.
I have two.
All right, I'll be right back. I gotta go. I gotta go drain the dragon. I will be right back. You guys hold the fort.
All right. I have two of them, and they are both episodes of He-Man: Masters of the Universe.
Nice.
Yes. I'm trying to figure out what the hell the players are called. Vinyl players.
I posted the wrong phone. It's the second one. And I wouldn't have sold it, but I can't believe I was going to buy one anyway just to have it. And eBay for $149. The stuff people throw away.
Yes, that.
That's why it costs so much. You know, it's my own nostalgia that screwed me over because it was plugged in and it worked. And as long as the offices in this church building were still operating, that phone worked. And just, I couldn't remove it from the wild. I had to know how long that thing would stay an active phone. And the answer is 2023 when they remodeled it. But I screwed myself out of the chance to keep it just because, like, I don't know. I'm just weird.
Yeah.
But
oh man,
it's like capturing a wild animal. Like that was.
All right, Caster, have you heard of Video CD?
Video CD.
VCD.
Is that big giant DVD
yeah.
they have?
No.
Like I saw one DVD sold on that.
That's Laserdisc.
No, they're movies that came on CD. Like you can play these on your Saturn or your Dreamcast, kind of thing.
Wow.
I have two of them here. You guys can't see them, but the audience will. I'm gonna hold up the camera. So this is Rush Hour 2. Is on VCD.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but and then this Forrester might like this. This is Kamen Rider 5's Paradise Lost.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
And yeah,
is this some Asian format?
Yeah, it's an Asian. It's mostly like an Asian format. It lasted up until like the early 2010s. Like if you go on eBay, you can find stuff like Man of Steel and the Avengers on VCD.
I remember when DVDs came out and they were saying that they were going to be digital versatile discs, and they never were. Because I remember there were CD-ROMs that could also play the music from the computer game, and they were telling us in the media that like they'd have video if you put it in that player and songs if you put it in the. And no, they didn't. The versatile disc never happened, and I never heard anyone after 2000 say versatile. It was just digital video disc. But I can remember.
Well, the versatile I think came from like the fact they could hold data. Like, remember in the early 2000s, you had like DVD minus R, DVD plus R, like that whole
Yep.
thing.
And the and the RW, and didn't
Yeah,
they stop making those?
Uh,
Or was that just Blu-ray? Writable Blu-rays are stopped.
as far as tech that I really want to own, I would love to have a mini disc player, honestly. It's like those things just seem like the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, well, speaking of those, a couple I remember, I distinctly recall seeing a trailer for The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe saying it was on DVD and PSP.
Oh, those
like the actual film, not the game. But and then also, I never actually really used these myself, but I definitely remember seeing them around. Even found them at a Goodwill once. Any recollection of Video Now?
Oh yeah, I remember those. I had friends who had those. But those UMD video discs, those are actually kind of cool, to be honest. I've owned a couple in my lifetime.
I put in the chat like the like an advertisement for it, but yeah, that's what one of the players looked. I came up from RCA, and the thing was, it looked like a giant 3.5-inch floppy. And you would put the whole thing into the machine, and the machine would pull the disc out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've seen like Angry Video Game Nerd movies, videos.
Yeah, you'd pull the whole thing out, and it would read it in the machine. And the thing is, you didn't want to take the vinyl record out because there was like oil on the disc that helped the needle go across it, and if you put smudges on there, it would mess up the video and stuff. But
disc where it had like the caddy and whatnot.
yeah, I had the caddy with it, and the thing was, I want to get the player, but I don't want to play the videos because these things are designed to be destroyed. They were meant to maybe be played 50 times before they would just wear out.
Ooh,
so they did have.
Ooh, that reminds me of seeing. Apparently, there was a short-lived trend of disposable DVDs that would only.
Oh my God! I remember that.
Oh yeah, they would start to deteriorate within days after getting exposed to air.
Yeah.
I didn't know of a disposable DVD. I know the cereal box records that used to exist.
Oh, I remember those. Oh God, I feel old. Thank you. Where is my? I'm trying to find those He-Man things. Where did I put them? Oh, here they are. Okay, I'm gonna take a quick picture of both of these. These are amazing. I saw these in a like a retro toy store / game store, and I said I gotta have those, and they were like $5 a piece, and I was like, I'll take them. I'll take both of them, sir.
Yeah, I'll take your entire stock.
I'll take your entire stock. It's just kind of cool. Both of them were He-Man. But yeah, and they're just giant. They look like giant 3.5-inch floppies.
And then you get the old Gen Z jokes like, "Oh, you 3 printed the save icon."
Yeah.
I was talking about that today. I'm old enough to have turned in class homework on floppy disks. Now, my first semester was like the last semester. The computer science department accepted floppy disks, so they wanted everyone using flash drives then. But nevertheless.
Yeah, I remember that era because like I was mostly in middle school when we were still using floppies. By about 2001, everyone was using flash drives just because they were so much better.
The problem was, and the professor had to just give me an exception, was because my home computer was from like 1992.
Oh God!
And that's just what I had to work with. But my father had been a big programmer, and he had C++ compilers and stuff. Like, my work was good, but my software was old. And so, I mean, he could put up with it. He didn't care. If the code ran, he was fine. I mean, but he didn't grade it anyway. I think the CA did it. I don't know. But that was that. But still. Should I have been? No, not really, but I still did. And that's
Any
weird.
comments, Caster?
Hmm?
Oh, I was asking Caster if we got any comments. Seeing if you got any new threads. Alright.
He's muted.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know you can't see the comments. So I'm not asking you to read them. Yeah, because I can't really enter Lizzie's bar till 6, so I'm just trying to kill time by.
Wait, are the comments on YouTube? Maybe I can. I think you sent me the link.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to, if you want to try, feel free. I just, didn't want to like put it on you if you could,
Somebody's just doing 80s songs or saying, I want to dance with somebody who loves it.
Yeah, Black Reaper Kai is a very special person. Like, we love him.
I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Lord. Okay, that makes me think of Miami Vice. One should always be careful of homages, because I remember the first episode of The Americans, they decided to have the two characters drive Moody with In the Air Tonight. The problem was it was a very dramatic, I think they'd killed an FBI agent or something, and it was, I forget what they'd done, but I swear they killed someone, and I think they were hiding the body, and it was like a real dramatic turning point that, like, now they were real spies. And when they did the Phil Collins song from the Miami Vice pilot, it just made it comedic. It's like,
yeah, it kind of made it turn. Doing that, you definitely bring it more into Farce territory.
Right. It's not that I'm fine that they did it. They just did it at the wrong moment. You could do a scene like that with a different song. But the moment you use the exact same, and they did the same staging and everything, having the camera cut down to the car wheel and into the hood and then back to the driver. Like, there's a look everyone knows is the Miami Vice picture. And it's like, guys, like that became a writing rule in my head from the first episode of The Americans, which I did like the show. It was set where I grew up. That was cool. We had a lot of crazy.
Well, to be fair. Like, I'm not going to say where you live, because that's your thing to tell, but a lot of stuff is set in your area.
Oh, yeah, near Washington, D.C. That's no secret, because Find Anyone there, it's like 2 states and the D.C. and the Beltway. It's like, I dare you to find anyone there. Bigfoot probably lives near D.C. I mean, we call it the DMV, D.C., Maryland, Virginia, because it's like 3 states wide. It's massive. But anyways, yeah. I mean, the crap I grew up hearing was probably never true. The only confirmed, like, Russian spy story that I know to be true was not in D.C. It was in Norfolk, Virginia. I know exactly which house on Old Ocean View Avenue.
I mean, do you remember that Russian spy story from the 2000s? Like...
That woman?
Yeah, with, like, the redhead, yeah. It was like a whole ring. Like, they were actually spies, but it was just kind of like a... like, oh, look, it's got the beautiful redhead and blah, blah, blah,
They can never decide in the rumors whether the spies had accents or not. Some swore that the Soviet spies were so well trained you couldn't tell. Others were like, no, they definitely did, and they had a cover story. The thing about that scuttlebutt is if you're hearing it, it's not true, because if it were true, you wouldn't be hearing it. So,
yeah.
But anyways, The Americans, that became a writing rule to me. Tributes are fine, but never in a dramatic turning point. If it's a crisis decision or something that's like a decision that characters can't take back, that moment has to land on its own. You cannot reference something else.
And I think that's a problem with a lot of modern writing, is they lean too hard on references. Like referential, like, writing, humor, because, like for example, that's the biggest problem with Stranger Things. It's beautifully shot, but the writing relies way, way too much on references. Like, not just, like, lines, but also
well,
like,
that's like I had
characters. Like, for example, in season 3, they had a character, like a Russian spy. He was like a reference to the Terminator kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, that's like, I had a comic book, a detective series, and somebody wrote a novel that was very, very similar. And I was scratching my head because he couldn't not show off his research. And it's like, you know, in his character, it's like, and Johnny looked down and picked up the Virginian Pilot newspaper. The headline said Hitler was invading Poland. He flipped to the TV, or not TV, but to the movie page to see what was playing. It was Clark Gable. It's like, okay, boy, you went to the library and found the newspaper. Cool. I've done the same thing, but no one I mean, if people wanted to read the newspaper, they just go look for it. That's not a story. And he couldn't all the time, like, mention, not work real places in organically, like, you know, well, let's put Smith and Welton department store in it somehow. No, he would just be like, and they drove past Smith and Welton. Why do I care what store they drove past? Bro, you just want everyone to know you found the old city directory.
Yeah, oh god.
And when you're doing things that obscure, and what's crazy to me is it's like, I don't understand how this guy lived in the same town but didn't pick up any good word of mouth. Like, he mentions a store. If you want to talk about that store, I met an old woman who was there as a kid, and the store detective apparently had shot a thief, and her mother was getting in a car, and the thief, this is early 60s, gets in the back seat behind her mother and says, "Be cool and drive."
Well,
And tells
yeah,
them
and
where
that's
to let
kind
him
of the thing is, anybody can just go look up Google, look up a
Yeah.
Google thing. Well, there's certain things about an area, you know, like its culture.
Yeah.
Like also like every area has like like certain like references, inside jokes.
Well, I just love to love that story because I could just hear that early 60s Frank Sinatra and dripping gag, "Be cool and drive." Like, I don't know. I shouldn't pick on other people. I basically called him out publicly, but he'll never hear it. But it was just like references this whole time period we're living in. People of all ages, no matter what they're writing, they're addicted. I don't feel we're doing that in Quartermain. We're using elements from...
Like, there are references. We are doing references.
Right, but we're using elements in a way that is story grounded. It's not the same as Family Guy has kind of...
Oh, this reminds me of the time I random.
Yeah, and it's like, thing you know. Oh, Big Bang was awful. The Big Bang... something was said about... Sheldon was like, well, I usually watch Doctor Who at this time of day. But at this point, it's more like, Doctor, why bother? I mean, okay, but there's no joke. I remember people being like, "Oh, well, you really got to be a nerd to get Big Bang Theory." I'm like, "No, you don't."
No. Big Bang Theory is for normies to feel important.
Yeah, they'll say the name of something you've heard of, and if you're just a normie,
yeah,
I say that as kind of a normie. I am still very normie in a lot of ways, and it's like,
yeah, it kind of has like that cynical like the people who like they were jocks, like the popular kids, and they resent the nerd culture, but like they have to do it because it's what's popular. So they have like kind of this, like you can feel the cynicism in the writing for like a lot of these like nerd stuff. Like the people who are like a lot of these Netflix shows. For example, like The Witcher. It's written with this kind of like disdain, like I was the prom queen and now I have to write about fucking elves. You know what I'm saying?
oh yeah, absolutely. Yep. I think I've heard people say that Big Bang Theory is like, it's what stupid people think smart people are.
Yeah.
There was something that I don't know all the shows on, and it was like about smart people for smart people, about smart people for dumb smart people. It's like the quadrants divided like.
Yeah, and the other problem is, like every person who's autistic, they like, oh, you're like Sheldon Cooper.
I hate Big Bang Theory with a passion.
I will say this: Bernadette is fine as hell. You can tell they had to dress her down so as not to like. She was way hotter than Kaylee Kuko, and they dressed her down. They like, oh my god.
I don't hate it for what it is, but Big Bang Theory has more in common with Seinfeld, Frasier, Modern Family,
Yeah.
where it's more of like that psychological character study. The writing is not really about nerds or about nerd culture. To say Big Bang Theory is about nerd culture is like saying Friends is about coffee.
That is so perfect.
Yeah.
Flip that shit.
Well, I mean, like, here's the thing, and this is something I've noticed. My parents watch Big Bang Theory and love it.
Yeah, my mom loves it.
And the thing is, it's boomer humor.
It is.
True, and I'm not saying boomer as in like okay boomer and then talk about Gen X. I'm talking like actual boomers.
No. My mom is definitely, she's from the disco era, like literal baby boomer.
So
Born
Johnny
No,
R.
so it's
says,
like-
hey, at least you guys got the guy from The Good Doctor. I'm not